Welcome to NATO Dispatches with me, Nicholas Richardson, and in this episode we visit United States troops at their base in Bomowie-Piskie. We speak to the men, we see the Stryker armoured infantry carrier, and we speak to their commander. Their commander we met was a captain, but here I'm standing before the monument to Tadeusz Kościuszko, who was a general. After graduating from the Cadet Academy in Warsaw in 1766, in 1776 he went to America, where he served in the Continental Army as a colonel, notable for his work on defences, including West Point. In 1788, a grateful Continental Congress promoted him to Brigadier General. The statue behind me is an exact replica of the statue in Lafayette Park in Washington, D.C., where Kościuszko stands among other heroes of the American Revolution.
The 3-meter-high statue of Tadeusz Kościuszko shows him wearing the uniform of an American general. The hero holds a saber in one hand and in the other a plan of the Saratoga field fortifications, which he designed during the American Revolution. The monument is complemented by allegorical figures placed on the sides of the plinth, relating to the fight for freedom on both hemispheres. These are the American eagle defending the flag, the Polish eagle fighting a snake, a symbol of Russian domination, and a group representing courage with a Kosiniec, a Polish scytheman from the Kościuszko uprising, shielding a Polish officer, and a depiction of freedom with an American soldier with a flag bending over a captured soldier. The inscriptions on the front and the back of the monument say that it is dedicated to the battles of Saratoga and Rasławice. Engraved on one side of the pedestal is a quotation from Thomas Campbell's poem, "And freedom shrieked as Kościuszko fell," and on the other side an inscription informing about the founders and the date of the unveiling of the monument. Thomas Jefferson wrote, "General Kościuszko, I see him often. He is as pure a son of liberty as I have ever known, and of that liberty which is to go to all, and not to the few or rich alone." Kościuszko took liberty so seriously that he was disappointed to see friends like Jefferson and Washington own slaves. During the American and Polish revolutions, Kościuszko had employed black men as his aide-de-camp. Agrippa Hall in America, Jean Lapierre in Poland. When he returned to Europe in May 1798, hoping to organize another war to liberate Poland, Kościuszko scribbled out a will. It left his American assets $18,912 in back pay and 500 acres of land in Ohio, his reward for his war service, for Jefferson to use to purchase the freedom and provide education for enslaved Africans. Jefferson, revising the draft into better legal English, also rewrote the will so that it would allow Jefferson to free some of his own slaves with the bequest. The final draft, which Kościuszko signed, called on "my friend Thomas Jefferson" to use Kościuszko's assets in giving them liberty in my name and giving them an education in trades and otherwise.
Kościuszko is just one example of the long-standing Polish-American military alliance, which dates back from even before the formation of the United States. During the uprisings of the 19th century, the 1920 Polish-Soviet War, which saw Poland fight for its independence, and the Second World War. These are examples of how Poland and the United States have always considered themselves to be staunch military allies. And since Poland joined NATO in 1999, that's been even truer than it was before. In 2017, as part of the NATO's enhanced forward presence, United States troops were established in Poland, and they are training even as we speak at their base in Bomowie-Piskie. We visited Bomowie-Piskie and saw the soldiers from the 2nd Cavalry Regiment, and I spoke to their commander, Captain Byron Adams.
The tradition of the 2nd Cavalry Regiment dates back to 1812 and the Light Dragoons. In the years of World War I, the 2nd Cavalry Regiments were the first unit that landed in Europe with General John Pershing. In World War II, the unit became mechanized and thus called the 2nd Mechanized Cavalry Group. During the Cold War, the unit stationed in Germany to protect the free world from Soviet incursion. From 2005 onwards, the unit was rearmed with Stryker infantry vehicles. In March 2017, the 2nd Squadron's 2nd Cavalry Regiment Strykers rolled out from Germany. Destination? Bemowo-Piskie, Poland. U.S. troops join NATO's Enhancing Forward Presence, an international fighting unit ready to deliver a deadly punch to the enemy. The battle group consists of 1,000 soldiers from the U.S. and 350 personnel from the United Kingdom and Romania, as well as the 15th Mechanized Brigade based in Giżycko, Poland. The United States contribution to NATO's EFP is a part of the overall deterrence and defense posture and is designed to demonstrate that even a limited attack or incursion into NATO territory will be met by Allied military forces.
What is the particular contribution the American unit makes to the battle group?
So we brought a bunch of folks here. You know, we've got a lot of different units we brought with us. So we've brought about 3 infantry line companies that we brought with us. All those strikers, you guys have seen some earlier today. So we brought a bunch of different, some of those. Otherwise, we also brought an artillery unit. So a bunch of 777 artillery pieces that we brought with us here. They've been able to contribute. We also brought our Alpha troop. They're part of our reconnaissance assets. And they have kind of a little different of a striker that they brought with them as well. So we bring them on top of that. And then finally, we also brought our HHC, which kind of is a combination of a whole bunch of things. You've got snipers in there, you've got your mortars, you've got all of your engineer assets, kind of think like your mine clearers and things of that nature. So we've got a whole different capability. All in all, we've got close to like 900 people on this mission with us, just to kind of support Poland, support NATO, be a part of the whole initiative that we've done out here. So
900 people, so the American contribution must be the largest, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. So we brought the most. You know, they call us like the framework nation for this battle group here. So, you know, everybody else, you know, we add on and we attach and we add capabilities and strengths to where we don't necessarily have. So, you know, the Romanians, the Croatians, the Brits, they all are filling some weaknesses that we have to make us just kind of stronger as a whole, right? So we can kind of, you know, fill in the gaps that we don't bring or have organically.
Yeah. And how do you find working in an international formation?
It's actually been awesome, to be honest with you. Like a lot of our soldiers, this is the first time they've ever either been to Europe or worked part of NATO or just been with folks in this kind of environment. And it's been a lot of fun. You know, we get to experience some different holidays that we've never actually seen before, which is really unique for us. You know, we come across with the 4th of July, and we've got our British brothers right there. And it's just kind of a fun time to see in the different perspectives we have on those holidays. But just in like the day-to-day aspect of just working together, it's been really fun.
Yeah.
You know, we always see things in just a different way. You know, America has been in the Middle East for over 20 years, same with our allies. We just kind of see things differently. You know, we have our different cultural heritage. You know, in America, we have a lot of like baseball and American football sayings that we just throw out in conversation every day. But when it comes to some of our allied troops, they don't know the American football sayings.
It would be like if I started to talk to you about cricket.
Yep, I wouldn't understand cricket that much, but we have to like understand like, oh, right, I got to come back to the basics and explain things that are more militaristic. Yeah. So
now, in terms of your daily work here in the Army, I mean, does it differ very much from what you were doing in the Army back home in America?
Yeah, so the one thing that's different about our unit, we're actually a National Guard unit. So back home, all of our soldiers, almost all, about say like 95% of them, 95% of them actually have a civilian job that they do outside of the Army. So really for us, this is not something that we do every day. We're professionals. We go and we do our drills, we do our training and everything like that. But we actually come here and this is what we do full time when we're here in Poland. Back home, we all have different civilian careers, different civilian jobs.
Behind me on the monument we see the Polish eagle defeating the Russian snake. And again we are living in turbulent times. How is NATO defending us, preparing to defend us from the threats that lie ahead in this region? It's over to the studio now and Konrad Gorlinski will report from NATO headquarters in Brussels.
Well, the top story, most recently on NATO's eastern flank, has been the ongoing crisis between Russia and the Ukraine. It all started in April of 2008 when NATO made a promise to Ukraine and Georgia that they could one day join the pact. This, for Russia, was an absolutely unacceptable eventuality. Recently, the Russian Defense Ministry accused NATO countries of pumping up Ukraine with weapons and claimed that Kiev was building up a contingent on the line of contact in Donbass. It also accused Ukraine of not fulfilling its obligations under the 2014 and 2015 Minsk Accords, designed to end the conflict there. Valery Gerasimov, the head of the Russian armed forces, was quoted as saying, "Any provocations the Ukrainian authorities by way of a forced settlement of the problems of Donbass will be suppressed." NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg rejected Russian demands and refused to rescind the 2008 commitment that NATO had made to Ukraine. NATO's relationship with Ukraine is going to be decided by 30 NATO allies and Ukraine, no one else. We cannot accept that Russia is trying to re-establish a system where big powers like Russia have spheres of influence, he told reporters after a meeting with Germany's new Chancellor Olaf Scholz. Later, Stoltenberg pointed out that Russia is increasing, not reducing, its military presence on the Ukrainian border by placing its combat-ready troops and tanks and artillery. Now back to you, Nicholas.
Thank you, Conrad. And now it's back to Mimovo-Piske, where Sergeant Rakitin will show us his Striker armoured infantry carrier. Fantastic piece of kit, and he was very proud of it.
The Striker family of armored vehicles provides the U.S. Army with a rapid deployment ability. In combat proven in Afghanistan and Iraq, Strikers not only carry U.S. troops to battle, but also perform many roles, turning the Striker Brigade into a serious fighting force. One of the latest upgrades are sensors to detect and neutralize unmanned aerial vehicles. Striker crews fight using leading-edge computer support. Each vehicle can track friendly vehicles in the field, as well as detect enemies. The vehicle commander uses a day-night thermal imaging camera, which allows him to see what the driver sees. The Striker's thermal sights can see out to 2,400 meters. This capability allows the vehicle to warn dismounted soldiers of threats which lie beyond the range of their night vision sights. The enemy should also be aware that Strikers fit into Hercules transport planes, and fighting brigades can be deployed literally within hours' notice anywhere in the world.
What does the United States bring?
So we bring, we're Striker Battalion, so we bring our Strikers to also be part of the deterrence and just to be support for Poland.
And I think we've got in the background, this is your vehicle.
Yes, sir.
And what does this vehicle actually do?
So this is a light armored troop carrier. This one is actually a commander variant. So we have to get troops and equipment to areas that we need to get to quickly and as safely as we can.
Does your daily work here differ very much from what you'll be doing back in the States?
No, it's pretty much the same. We get a little more one-on-one with the vehicle and with our teams, and also working with the other nations and stuff like that. So slight difference, just a little more in depth, I would say.
But you're enjoying it?
Oh, yes, sir.
Of course, a soldier's life is not all training, and we have now an amusing story. The dog turned up at the American base. We don't know its name in Polish, but both the dog and the American soldiers are happy to call it Chico.
Chico, how does it feel to lead the Gaffby Ruck March?
Are you soldiers?
One day kind of wandered on the base, and the other soldiers were like feeding him and watering him, and he decided to stick around.
Just having him run alongside us, I always look down, it's like, hey, you're here with us, dope.
Chico can be picky sometimes. He really doesn't like French fries.
Chico's favorite food is definitely pizza, just like everybody else who's on this battle group.
He absolutely loves chicken. bad day, he comes up to you, starts wagging his tail, wants pets, and your day just gets better.